impressive was this?
I gave it a 4. Tom was good. He was only good the last drive, and I guess that's the only time that you need to be good. In the first 59 minutes of the game, Tampa had 9 points. Brady was 31 of 53 for 226 yards and 0 touchdowns, and he just was averaging 4.3 yards a attempt. Now, we just saw last week, we saw what Jimmy G did. Jimmy G completed 84% of his passes for 235 yards and 2 touchdowns. So they are not the Rams defense. This was more about what the Rams defense didn't do as opposed to what Tom Brady did do. Now, they got Scotty Miller out there thinking he's Tyreek Hill. I don't know what Jay Ram was doing. I don't know what those guys were doing that you're playing off and you allow the guy to get out of bounds. On the first drive, when Brady got the ball back after they stopped him on 4th down and they get the ball back, I'm watching B. Wags and I'm watching Jay Ram. They look at the guy and the tight end runs down the seam and get a 20-plus yard completion. I'm like, guys, what the hell are you doing? You're like, they were like, well, all they need, they need a touchdown to beat us. But you can't let them get down the field so quick. Get out of bounds and stop the clock. I'm like, what are you guys doing? And I think one of the plays that I think Raheem Morris is looking at, Skip, it was 3rd and 20, and I don't know if you remember this. It was 3rd and 20. He dumps the ball to Leonard Fournette. Leonard Fournette makes the guy miss. He picks up 15 yards, but it leads to a field goal. So now all of a sudden,
that's the play on which he went over 100,000 yards. Go ahead.
Yes. So that was really the play, Skip, because now I'm not so sure. Maybe they go for it on 4th down. I don't think they're going to allow him to try and kick Skip a 60-yard field goal in that situation. I could be wrong, but they end up getting 3 points out of that. So now if you take those 3 points away, Tom Brady touchdown ties you, and we're probably going to end in a tie because neither offense did much yesterday. But for me, Skip, when I look at Tom Brady, I mean, look at all the passes that he's thrown. I mean, they're just like nothing. Tom Brady has attempted 398 passes. That's 38 more than Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray's played 1 more game. Brady is 30th in yards per attempt, 16th in touchdowns. He's 17th in QBR. He's slightly above average, 51.3. The best thing about the Tampa and their situation, they're in the NFC South. They're leading that division with a 4-5 record. That is the best thing. But I was not impressed with what transpired yesterday because we've known this for a very long time. The Rams are a different team. They're not very good. Matthew Stafford isn't playing well. And that defense, I don't know if they're still having a Super Bowl hangover or what has transpired, but they're not the same defense. They do a lot of yapping, but I don't see a lot of production, a lot of producing going on out there. So I wasn't impressed. He was tremendous the last drive, and I guess that's the only thing mattered. But up until that point, he was very average.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you just heard from the president of the Brady-hating society, Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe. And now it is my turn to tell you why what Brady did yesterday was extremely impressive because it was against extremely high degree of difficulty.
Why?
The Buccaneers came in dead last in rushing, and they lived down to that title,
Rams
right?
was next to last in rushing.
What's that?
Rams were next to last in rushing.
I think it's my turn, right? Okay.
Well,
because I didn't interrupt you one time. I could have interrupted you 17 times, and I just bit through my lip trying not to alienate you right out of the box.
Go ahead.
All right. So the Buccaneers came in, would you believe, dead last in pass block win rate. And much of the time yesterday, they just couldn't keep Aaron Donald away from Tom Brady because Aaron Donald's pretty good. And he looked pretty good yesterday, even though he got outplayed by Vita Vea in the biggest picture, because I thought Vea wreaked more havoc than even Aaron Donald did. Am I right about that?
He did.
All right. So Brady has become masterful at getting rid of football, because what has Brady done in the biggest picture this year? He has to get rid of it, but he doesn't throw it to the other team because guess what, ladies and gentlemen? He leads the whole NFL in touchdown to interception ratio. He's 10 to only 1. Would you believe he's thrown almost 400 straight passes since the Dallas game that opened the season without throwing an interception? That's pretty great when you're on a team that's pretty lousy all the way around. Would you believe that Mike Evans, on the first catch of the game, after he dropped the first one that hit him right in the hands, and by the way, ladies and gentlemen, would you believe that Tom Brady's receivers dropped 8 passes yesterday? 8 passes? On the one that Mike Evans caught, the next throw to him, He got bashed from all sides, and he got his ribs smashed, and they taped him, but it doesn't do any good to tape your ribs. I don't even know what good it does, as you well know. What can you do? Put tape on him. It doesn't do any good, and he looked like shell of himself for much more of the rest of the game.
Okay.
Chris Godwin just hasn't been able to bounce back from a complete rebuild of his ACL. He's just looking like running in Cabo sand, like I always say Zeke is. He looks like he's running in quicksand. He can't separate from anybody. They try to get him to run the ball with those quick jailbreak screens, and he just goes nowhere slowly. And then Julio. I used to love Julio Jones. Tom used to love Julio Jones. I thought he was going to be the secret sauce, the new deep speed receiver.
Not the same guy.
He's just not the same guy. And to your credit, you called this. And it got so bad, I'm going to leap in my video here if the control room can hang with me. But there's a pass to Julio, and it's a
comeback.
It's a third down pass.
And the one he slips on?
Yeah, he slipped down. Let's see where it is. It's deep. It's 3rd and 5 at the 20, and he throws it out. No. That wasn't actually. That's
an under.
Yeah, it's a little under, but this wasn't exactly it. I'm sorry, we get the wrong one. But it's
I know the one you're talking about.
It's just
the comeback, and he dings his knee.
His feet go out from under him, and then he just lies on the turf like, oh, I did it again. And then late in the game, he's trying to lobby the wide receiver coach to get back in the game, and he's just being told no. I'm sure Tom said, okay, that's enough. Let's try somebody else. Tom Brady was relegated to trying to pull this game out of the fire, throwing to little Scotty Miller, who about half this year has been completely lost in the doghouse. And throwing to a rookie tight end named Kate Otten, who's got some potential, but he's not exactly Rob Gronkowski.
I told you I like him, Skip.
He's not exactly Cameron Brate, who, when we made our predictions on Friday, and by the way, I predicted 17-14. I think it was 16-13. Close enough. But the point is, I thought Cameron Brate, he had practiced. I thought he was going to be eligible. But no, he's got a neck injury, and it must be pretty serious.
Yes.
And he is down and out and did not play.
Okay.
I also thought Antoine Winfield would be out of concussion protocol because he practiced limited.
Right.
He did not play yesterday, which shocked me and deflated me. But the defense yesterday played, I thought, as Brady said, the first words out of his mouth in the postgame, defense played great. Well, they did play great against what?
That's what I'm trying
against
to say.
Sorry.
Yeah.
They played great against Sorry. That's all I got for you, but they did. They just hung in and hung in the whole game. All right. So with 8 drops, it's just hard to function because there's a bad drop, then a bad penalty, and a blown assignment, and you're just like, this just looks awful. But I did think, as I predicted to you on Friday, that post-divorce, after he got that whole thing over and out, cleared the decks, he looked sharper and more focused yesterday than I've seen him all year. And when things did go wrong, he didn't lose it the way he had been losing it, where he's throwing tablets and throwing fits. I didn't see any fit throwing yesterday.
See, I told you, Skip, he was on edge. I've been trying to say, Skip, he's on edge. You got a lot of things
but
on his
I didn't know, as I told you last week, I had no idea they were actually finalizing a divorce in the middle of a football season. And I said, well, at least he got that all out of his hair, because trust me, it's not the emotional, it's just the psychological distraction of it. It's just like every day you got to go over this point, that point, this point, the child sharing. It just gets so complex, and he had to get it all done during the season. Yeah. And I'm sure he heaved a huge sigh. They had a mini break of 10 days. And let's try to figure out if we can lock back in and do this, because, as you say, they're in the NFC going south. And fortunately, in a shock to me, Atlanta looked like it had won the game against your Chargers, right?
Yeah.
And they get a fumble
recovery.
They get a fumble, and then the guy's running with it. He just loses it. But he didn't even get stripped. He just lost the football.
He was trying to be a running back. He was going to switch arms.
Okay, I guess he was going to switch arms. And all of a sudden, they just literally hand the game back to the Chargers. And all of a sudden, voila. The Buccaneers are actually leading the South because they have the best division record at 2-1, and they've already beaten Atlanta, albeit in Tampa, and they still got to finish the year at Atlanta.
Correct.
And by the way, the Bucs' schedule is just unrelenting. It just gets, to me, it just gets harder and harder and harder. So they're not out of the woods, but this was a huge comeback for Brady because of degree of difficulty. So let's just go in order. This one got me. This is where I just fell out of my chair and rolled on the floor. This is an early 3rd and 2 at the 3 on the opening drive, and it looked like Brady was really locked in on the opening drive. And what do they do on 3rd and 2 from the 3? They give it to playoff Lenny, who's kind of layoff or way off Lenny, right? I don't know what's happened to him, but he just does not look the same. That's what you got, and that's what you got, right?
I see a lot of Tampa's offensive linemen standing around.
They're just standing, they're just getting stood straight up.
Ain't nobody move anybody.
Nobody's going anywhere, and he just runs into a brick wall, and he goes down.
Yes.
And I said, well, what are you doing? You might as well try to throw it because you do have the GOAT at quarterback, and as difficult it is for him to find somebody separating the red zone because they've been horrendous in the red zone, it's better than that option. All right, so then this happened. The Rams have one chance and one chance only. It's Cooper Kupp or bust.
Yeah.
And he's still really, really good.
Right.
The Buccaneers did a really good job of just saying, no, you can't have him, except on one play. That boggled my mind. I'm saying, how could you let Cooper Kupp loose? What is it, 2nd 11 at the 31-yard line? And you just don't cover him up
the seam. They run double seams on him, Skip.
He just runs right up the seam.
And
Matt Stafford said, I'll take that. Okay, Keanu Neal and
come on, Skip. You know Keanu. He's not a cover guy.
He used to be my guy, right?
Yeah, he's a thumper, though, Skip.
He's playing linebacker. He's dropping, and he's got no chance. And then Mike Edwards doesn't get over. And I'm saying, it's 10 or bust.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you just make sure you got 3 people around?
I understand, Skip, the double seam concept. You don't want to try to cheat it, but I'm gonna cheat the 10 side. Right. Skip, you remember the first play of the game? What happened? Van Jefferson, what did he do? Drop a deep over.
He dropped a deep over. They would have been in even more trouble. So we won't show this video, but they blocked a field goal, and B-Wags just leaped right over Robert Hainsey, the young. He's not a rookie, but he's a first-year center.
Right.
Just leaped right over him and just stuffed it, man. It was just like a Matumbo block, right? Okay, so then we talked about the Julio disaster, so he's out of the fray. So now we go to Brady actually pulled off 2 game-winning drives in the fourth quarter. The first one was actually 12 plays, and it gets down to 2nd and goal at the 6-yard line, and he's starting to feature little Scotty Miller because he's really got nobody else that he's trusting on this day.
Right.
So then he throws this ball to the back of the end zone to little Scotty and hits him right in the face mask.
But why did he jump, though? I don't know. I don't get why guys jump.
I don't know if he just freaked like, oh, my God, I got to catch this. I need to.
Well, he's
jump.
a body catcher, Skip. You don't trust his hands.
And it went right through his hands. It hit him in the face mask. It hit him in the face mask. That's what I said. It's just not meant to be this year. It's just not going to work. So then back to the rookie tight end that you like. So on the next, that make it 3rd and goal from the 6, he throws it to Cade Otton at the 1. And I know this is a tough catch because it's defended, but you just have to secure this ball because it's the football game is on the line. Shannon Sharpe's just going to fight for that ball because it hits you right in the breadbasket. And I know a hand gets in underneath, but he just couldn't fight for it and hold it. And I thought, oh, great. So now it's 4th and goal, and they go nowhere because he gets rushed, and he tries to, he just throws it to nobody. And they should have picked it off, actually.
It'd have been better had they would have picked it off because then he got the ball at the 20.
That is true. But instead, he just throws it to nobody, and so the defense rises and shines again against a sorry Rams offense.
Yeah, they got really conservative in that situation.
Okay. So all of a sudden, the Buccaneers get the ball back. It's 44 seconds left. You're 60 yards away, and he goes 6 plays. And the first one you already mentioned, so let's see the throw to Otton because this is the tone setter.
Yes.
Without this one, nothing happens. And Brady sits and fires.
I'm trying to,
I don't know, because this is the one where I said, uh-oh, there's hope.
Yes.
Uh-oh, I've seen this act before many times. And Otton also made a good grab of the ball because he's got a slide for it. And
well, you got to keep, but if you look at the other side, Godwin is open also.
Okay, Cade Otton was wide open. And the GOAT stood in strong and did that little rock step and stepped into it and threw it with some mustard on it. And I said, whew, wait a second. All of a sudden, you can run down and spike it now because you're out of timeouts.
Yes.
You can run down and spike it. And then here we go. Let's see what happened in the next. So we're going to go 5 straight plays. First, now it'll be 2nd and 10 at the Rams 32. Let's see what happens. The first one goes to Fournette. It's just a 4-yarder. He just says, okay, I'll take that and stop the clock. And then here he goes to your favorite plays. Little Scotty is 14 yards on.
Dude, Kendrick, what are you doing?
I don't know.
Don't let him out of bounds.
J-Ram, let him go. No, go, wait. And then he fires one to Mike Evans, and Kendrick grabs him and just wraps him around the waist. And then that sets up this little call. Boom. And that is that. And it happened like lightning. It happened, would you believe it happened in 35 seconds instead of the 44 that he had left, because there's still 9 seconds left on the clock.
Yes.
Which shocked me. So back to your point, Brady is saying, wait a second, because obviously the Rams say, Scotty Miller can do only one thing. He can run past me, and we ain't going to let him run past us. Brady's deked people before with the deep ball to Scotty Miller. Remember, just before halftime against the Raiders, and then just before halftime up at Lambeau in the playoff game, right?
Yes.
And so both Kendrick and then J-Ram, they just lay back like, you can't run by us. Well, wait a second. Brady says, thank you very much. I'll take that, I'll take that.
Because the closer you let him get, the more opportunity, the more cracks he has to throw at the end zone.
Yep.
You have to understand, Brady just wants to get closer and closer. So now, Skip, at worst case scenario, let's just say 10 seconds, I'm going to get 2 to 3 cracks at throwing the ball into the end zone. Y'all talking about a touchdown, bruh. You got to keep him from closing the distance to your end zone.
Yep.
I just don't know what coverage, I don't know what Raheem called that would allow them to lag off and to let the guy to get out of bounds to stop the clock. At least, Skip, if you're going to let him catch the ball, you got to tackle him at the spot and make time tick, 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 tick off the clock. But they would catch the ball, the guy spins out of bounds, and then everybody looking around like, what? That's what I'm saying, like, what?
Okay, and then finally, we have a Mike Evans sighting on the pass interference, but he'd been a ghost for most of the second half, and all of a sudden they say, okay, we'll single him this time, let's go this direction. And Brady stands right up and fires it to Mike Evans on a little slant.
Right.
And Kendrick really has no choice but to just wrap him around the waist.
Right.
And he wrapped him too fast, and I thought it was a good call. I thought it was fair. And all of a sudden it's 1st and goal at the 1, and I'm thinking, are they going to try to ram this in? Is Brady going to try to sneak this in? No, he just doesn't trust
because
what they have up front.
You're not going to get another chance. If you run this ball, you're not getting another chance. You're not going to get another playoff, because by the time they unpile everybody and guys are not moving, the defenders, they're not moving. So you're not going to get a playoff. So you know he's going to throw it.
Okay. So he fakes it to the left of Fournette to try to draw some bodies to the left.
Yes.
And then if we could see the last play one more time, he just raises up and Otten dekes him and just leaks out to the right, and he hits him right in stride on Bourne again, right? Yep.
Kendrick, you can't lose your leverage, bro.
Not Kendrick, on Kendrick.
That's Kendrick, yeah.
Yep.
Don't lose your leverage. See, you spend all your time riding the guy down, the slot guy down, and now you've lost your leverage.
Yep.
We just saw that. Didn't we just see this with LSU and Alabama the other night, Skip?
We did.
I mean, basically it's the same.
We did. And by the way, Brady actually half rolled on that play. So he's actually using his, believe it or not, feet and legs to go a little half roll to hit him on the run, hit him right in the hands. And remember, he had to trust a rookie tight end in place of Gronk, in place of Cameron Brate, to catch the ball and extend the ball. And he trusted him, and it was a bingo.
Well, Skip, in that situation, I mean, you're tight end in the National Football League. If you can't catch that one, you probably don't need to be playing. So, and plus, he had threw him early. He was the play that got it started. That 23, 24-yard play that he got earlier on that drive, that really gave them the courage. So now, Skip, you've gotten 24 yards. Now you come down, you clock the ball, and so we got 30 seconds left to do something. And so Brady knows, look, I can just be methodical. What they're going to do, they're going to probably lag off, so I'll be able to get the throws that I want. I'm surprised that was the way that they chose to play this defense in that situation.
All right. I've said this before. We're going to dive into this a little later in the show.
Okay.
But to me, Brady has proven so many times on so many big stages that he is the greatest clutch player I've ever seen in any sport, even beyond Jordan, because he's had so many opportunities. This is just me. You're not a fan. I'm a big fan. But I don't know Tom Brady, so I'm not close to him. There's no personal connection to Tom Brady. I just consider it a privilege to get to watch that guy do that at age 45 when he's clearly the GOAT. He's clearly an NFL treasure, whether you love or hate him off the field or even on the field, but it's just a treasure. I just sat back and I said, how many kids who are 5 years old right now got to watch that, and they can say when they're 95 years old, they'll be able to say, oh, I saw Tom Brady play when he was 45. You did?
Those same 5-year-old kids, they watched that one, and then they watched the night game, and they said that 15, he's better than 12. That's what they saw.
Okay, except 12 is still doing it at an extremely high level at age 45.
That's the Skip. It's not that he's doing it. He's doing it at a level still. And although he might not be Tom Brady that we're used to 5 years ago, the mere fact that he's playing at that a level that's still very good. Not his level, because you got to measure Tom by Tom. That's the only measuring stick that you do with great players. You don't measure them by other great players.
No.
You measure them by what they've been measured by their entire careers.
I agree. And just remember, in the end yesterday, his two leading receivers were 68 yards to Kate Otten and 53 yards to little Scotty Miller. That's all. That says it all about degree of difficulty and what he achieved against the defending Super Bowl champs, who still have pride, who still had.
I can't tell.
Okay, but they had owned Brady in Tampa.
Right.
They have owned, what was that? They beat him three in a row. Yep. And now he's 1-3 against them, and they are still afloat, barely atop the NFC South.
Yeah, the Rams got some issues, and I'm not so sure that they're going to be able to figure this thing out this year. The offensive line, Skip, their offensive line is worse than yours. Evans, Skip, that left guard.
Yeah,
you talking about your left guard?
Yep. Vita Vea had career day.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out, Skip, if you're the guy to alert the center when to snap the ball, how you get a procedure? You telling him when to snap the ball. How you jump?
They did that. They pulled that off.
I mean, hey, look, they had, for what, 59 minutes and 59 minutes and 50-plus seconds, Rams, you should, and like Sean McVay said, the defense played good enough. Well, it's your offense. Skip, he got conservative. The last two times, Sean, that's not Sean McVay.
No.
He got ultra conservative.
Then they ran that wide reverse to Cooper Kupp, and I'm not sure what he was thinking on the second down play, because he decided, I'm going to slide in bounds, but you need to get a first down.
Right. That's a situation, Skip. You might need to double up, put both hands on the ball, and try to plow forward. Because you have to realize now, once you slide, you are a quarterback. They're going to bring you back to where you initiated the slide.
Yep. And that was the play, to me, that gave them a glimmer of hope. All the Rams have to do is make one first down, and the game's over.
It's over. Yes. Yes.
And I, for one, thought it was over.
Nah, because I knew they were going to be conservative.
And so are the Packers. We're going to get to all that in just a second. Hey, Shannon, bonus points for bringing up LSU Bama, by the way.
Whatever.
Brownie points with me.
They got robbed.
All right, still to come this morning. Robbed. That's called skill and talent. Execution in the clutch. Speaking of execution in the clutch, Patrick Mahomes now the MVP frontrunner after last night's win.
You see that?
And hey, Skip, will your Cowboys put an end to the Packers season this Sunday?
Yes.
Yes.
Skip and Shannon dive in when we come back. Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Subscribe here to get the very latest from Skip and Shannon. Plus, go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.